والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. بسم الله. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful. All praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, as my style, as you know, I always do my best just to keep everyone on the track, just to make, like, to sum up part of what we have done last time, and in case if you forgot, to refresh your memory, in case if you are new, to know what we are doing. So we are in the context of highlighting the following fact, that we were preceded by tens of nations and believers and prophets and messengers before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We were told in the Quran 25 names, in the Sunnah 2 to 3, so we know about it 28 by names. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصْهُمْ عَلَيْكَ. We have not told you about other prophets. We know nothing about numbers in the Quran. Prophet Muhammad, in acceptable hadith in terms of its authenticity, it's not the highest level of authenticity because we have levels. We have Sahih, the authentic levels, the Hasan, but they are accepted. We were told that Prophet Muhammad said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 124,000 prophets. We know just few about them. For how long? No idea. Where are their locations for sure? No idea. Simply Allah decided to tell us about this simple number and the lessons. Number one. Number two, the Quran is the final divine message from Allah for Arabs, for humanity, up to the day of judgment. This is a constitution, contains the cream of all previous scriptures and divine revelations. What was there in the original authentic Torah, it's in the Quran. What was there in the scripture of Ibrahim alayhi salam, وصحف Ibrahim, it's in the Quran. What was sent in the Psalms of David, Zabur Dawood, it's in the Quran. So Allah gave something, okay? The final version of divine revelation, it's with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's in this Quran, okay? This Quran is a book of science, book of history, book of what? Guidance. It guides you. It's a book of guidance. It's not a book of history. However, it contains some historical information. It's not a book of science. However, it contains scientific evidences to prove to you that it's from Allah. But we can't say the Quran, we don't derive applied science from the Quran. No. The book came for the guidance. The most important point of the guidance, to know who is Allah, the one who created you, to be connected with Him, to be able to communicate with Him, and to know His will in terms of your conducts and your purpose in this life. Humanity in general, they became professional in knowing the how, but most of them, they know nothing about the why. Okay? The purpose. Al-ghaya min al-haya. You need to know this, because most of our sciences now revolves around which question? What, how? But the why we are here, most of the people, they would love to do what? To close their eyes. يا عمي ما تقرفناش بقى خلاص يعني. We don't know how to reach it. Yes, we know. We Muslims know. We know. Please come and listen. We know. Allah gave us the message. We know. So please listen. Okay? Now, because of this, part of the lessons in this Quran, Allah decided by His wisdom to give us lessons from those who came before us. From those who came before us, the children of Israel. They belong to the same school that we belong to, the school of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Madrasat al-Wahy al-Ilahi. So they received from the same source. So like many others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about others, the people of Ad. They had a prophet, Salih alayhi salam, Hud alayhi salam, Shu'aib alayhi salam. We know. So Allah decided to highlight many lessons from those groups of people. Now in chapter Al-Baqarah, as I told you, Allah decided to give us a series of lessons. Now my concern is not the children of Israel. My concern is what? We, us Muslims. Because basically this is our book. And we know that at least or around 30 to 33% of the Quran is what? Qasas, stories. قال فاقصص القصص لعلهم يتفكرون إن في قصصهم لعبرة. Verily, indeed, in their stories there is a wisdom, there is lesson. So narrate, tell them about the stories لعلهم, so that they might reflect upon, think about. So think about what? How? What could happen to us in case if we followed. Now we are observing by the will of Allah the ups and downs of another previous group of believers like us. They came from the same school, they received the similar revelation, they lived 2,000 years before us. Can you? 2,000 years. Now their age is, they are, if I may put it in this way, historically, they are our elder brother. Historically. Now they used to be the chosen. Now we are the chosen. Not every single one of us by birth. The one who decided to what? To adapt. Once you declare, this is my guidance, immediately you are a chosen. Which means you choose to be chosen. Be careful. Theoretically, I say chosen. Chosen not by force because you are from those who people like, you know, the Nazis. You know, the German Nazis, they were believing in the, you know, the blue bloods, the العرق the Aryans. So we are the best. We should get rid of everyone else. This was the notion that, you know, pushed the Nazis in Germany. They were created, okay. No, we don't believe in this. إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. Our way of believing in the chosen, actually, the chosen is an amazing, beautiful link, key. You press on it. By your choice, you become a chosen. By your choice. Because Quran is very clear. قل آمنوا أو لا تؤمنوا. It's up to you. لا إكراه في الدين. No compulsion in religion, but highlight now. Take the decision that you want, but face the consequences. You don't want to follow the law? Okay. You will pay the price. The cameras are there. You are watched. They will capture you when you want to leave the country. Don't worry. You will continue it in the court. Don't follow the rules. The police people will come and knock your door. Yes, you have freedom relatively, but there is accountability, police enforcement, CCTV cameras. Do we do this in our daily life or not? Do we claim that we are civilized people or not? Do we accept this or not? Why we feel angry when Allah deals with us in this way? Why? This is what we do on a daily basis. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, there is, I forget the number, but it's tens of millions of CCTV cameras in China, in the streets. Millions. Not talk of thousands. Millions. Why? Their vision. Why do they observe them? Accountability. Right, wrong. صح, خطأ. Allowed, not allowed. We will show you if you make a mistake. So this concept now, because I see very new faces, I have to repeat this concept that I'm, you know, walking through. So we came to this story now. We told you in 15 pages, more or less, we have 90 verses, 25, let's say, historical story and event for the children of Israel. Last time, we highlighted one of them, which is the story of the Saturday or the Sabbath. Do you remember? Who can give me the most important headline that we came as a result of last time? Do you remember the three categories? Yes? Group A, B, C. وإذ قالت أمة منهم لما تعظون قوما الله مهلكهم أو معذبهم عذابا شديدا قالوا معذرة إلى ربكم ولعلهم يتقون. So our point is not the people of the Shabbat. Our point is, wait, Allah is highlighting the reaction towards those sinful people. Because some of them, they were with them. Some of them, they left them, but they did nothing. خلاص يعني, let them go to hell. I mean, it's not my business. Be careless. And the group who are praised by Allah, from the believers of the children of Israel, not just the believers theoretically, applied believers. Okay? They just say, they kept on do what? يعظون, be careful. What's the موعظة? الموعظة. Preaching, okay? كلام رقيق القلوب. It's not illogical, by the way. يعني انت بدك تضل تحكي لنا كلام وعظي، تعرفوهم كلام الوعظي؟ انا ما بفهمنيش كلام الوعظي، انا بحب كلام العقلي حبيبي. Your heart needs وعظي. You know وعظي؟ والله, because some people they feel arrogance. يا زلمه كلام وعظي، يا سلام. You know كلام وعظي? You know the Arabic, what does it mean? Some people they look down. Hey, don't waste my time with a preacher. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَقُلْ لَهُ وَعِظْهُمْ وَقُلْ لَهُمْ فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ قَوْلًا بَلِيغًا. عِظْهُمْ. We need, there's a problem here, by the way, not here. Because here we know how many PhD holder from surgeons and doctors they smoke. You tell me, how? Do they know or they don't know? Knowledge. They know what happens for the lung in terms of the cancer or not. They know or they don't know? It's not just they know. Tangible assets. They open the body. They hold with their naked hands the black lung which is full of nicotine. They see it not on TV. They hold it by their own hands when someone is dead because of the cancer. True or false? Yet when they finish the operation, the doctor himself, what does he do? What's this? Well, wallahi, I mean, do you see this or not? Am I exaggerating or we have this? Well, this happens. Many doctors, they smoke. Is it a matter of knowledge and conviction? Desires, feelings, attitudes. This has not decided to submit yet. It's not just here. So it's not just a knowledge. And we will prove this to you. Anyway, so we said about our three groups. This happened last time. Today, we will highlight the story which comes next, which is the story of AlBaqarah. So let's read very quickly. وَإِذْ قَتَلْتُمْ نَفْسًا فَادَّارَأْتُمْ فِيهَا وَاللَّهُ مُخْرِجٌ مَا كُنْتُمْ تكتمون فقلنا اضربوه ببعضها كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون. Sorry. What is it? ثم ويريكم آياتكم تعقلون ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي كالحجارة أو أشد قسوة. Now, sorry. Now the story of the AlBaqarah. Now basically, according to the Quran, the story that someone, and by the way, there is an indication in the Torah, in the Old Testament about the story, but it's very, very limited. It's mentioned in two places. The chapter of the Numbers and the chapter of the Deuteronomy. التثنية والعدد. But it does not cover the full version that we know. They mention something very limited, simple part that does not show you why, when, how, the full story. In the Quran, we have the full story. Now, the full story, I will say it very quickly, then I will come to the what do we benefit from it, we as Muslims, why it's mentioned here. And by the way, don't forget, this story has the title of the whole surah, which is the biggest surah in the Quran, is it a coincidence? You think it's a coincidence? Do you think that Allah, sometimes something escapes from under his hand when he decides to, oh, البقرة, يلا مش البقرة العجل, okay, يلا البقرة. Do you think this? أعوذ بالله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah decides to call the chapter AlBaqarah, and it's the biggest one, and this is a story out of tens of stories, there is a message. We will know, inshallah, part of the message. I can't claim that we will comprehend everything because it's a very intensive. The idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that at the time of Musa, someone was found killed in the street. No one knows who killed this person. They came to the Prophet of Allah, Ya Rasulullah, someone killed someone else. You know, it's one of the biggest disasters and the big major sin, you know, in the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, starting from the sons of Adam up to our time. Qatl al-nafs, you know, killing an innocent person, it's a big sin. Sometimes, you know, sometimes the sin as if someone killed the humanity. So they came to their prophet. In a very simple context, oh, the messenger of Allah, we found someone. What's the deal? Okay, Allah ya'murukum an tadhbahu baqarah. Excuse me? We are asking you, tell us who killed this person. Okay. Slaughter a cow. Excuse me? We are asking you to tell us, yes, slaughter a baqarah. Okay. They started now, they were simply asked to do a simple thing. It's like, Daddy, please, I want such as, okay, open that case. I want you to open that case. I'm asking you, give me answer. Open, bring me my briefcase. Oh, no. Bring me my briefcase. I will, no. Now, the attitude of arrogance and rejection. Are you with me? The attitude of, what they said in English, I wrote it here because it's completely new to me in English, al-mumatala, which is the temporization and procrastination. Okay? Temporization, al-mumatala, which means you were asked to do something. نقطة, خلاص, do it. طيب, what about this? يا عمي, don't waste your time, do it. The attitude, connect this with the story of the Shabbat. What was the core point of the story of the Shabbat?
Don't fish on Saturday.
The core idea, it was cheating and...
They try to find loopholes around it.
You were asked to do this. Okay. Ya ammi, are you playing games with Allah? This is a message for us, be careful. Don't drink alcohol. Okay, Allah. We will call alcohol spirits. We will drink them. We are not drinking alcohol. Are you with me? Okay. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Do not even come close to the fahisha of adultery. Okay, we are not committing fahisha. It's what? Friendship. Boyfriend, girlfriend. Is there any problem with the friendship, Sheikh? No. So it's not zina. It's friendship. It's his girlfriend. Okay? They are doing fahisha. No. They are making love. Wallahi, do we do this or not? Practically, do we do this or not? Who said no? Oh, so okay, underage, he does that. Oh, okay. Sorry, yes, I don't blame you. Alhamdulillah. It seems pure-hearted. He knows nothing about what happens around. Even the Arab countries, even the Islamic countries. Wallahi, do we do this? Now, prostitution houses, what do they call them? Siyaha jinsiyya. What's this? Wallahi, they call it siyaha. خدمات جنسية. خدمات سياحية. It's prostitution. They call it what? خدمات سياحية. What's خدمات سياحية? Services. Tourist services. What's this? This is exactly the point. Okay? Now, put this with our story now. They were simply the commandment of Allah. This man was killed. Allah's way of teaching them the lesson: slaughter a letter, take piece of the flesh of the cow, hit the body, the dead body will come to life and he will tell you who killed him. Is it complicated? Is it a very complicated mathematical equation? Is it? Simply. طيب ادعو لنا ربك يخبرنا. Okay. Tell us about the age of this cow. Is it too old or very young? يا عمي, any cow. Okay. He told him. Allah revealed to him. Then he gave them. قال ادعو لنا ربك. They are asking about the color now. The same answer. Now more restrictions on themselves. Okay? صفراء فاقع لونها. Very bright yellow. لا شية فيها. There is no other colors. Which means much more difficult to find. After that, okay, tell us, is it a cow that is tilling the soil and watering, the farms, or just simply it takes rest and no one uses this cow for anything? The end result, they found it. قال فذبحوها وما كادوا يفعلون. They did it, but they were nearly hardly even not to do it. What is an attitude? So they did it at the end. But look to the difficult lessons and we make analogy with our life as Muslims. One of the amazing and horrible lessons, we are talking about a group of believers. Yes or no? In their time. Speaking with Prophet and Messenger. Who is he? Musa alayhi salam. Look how they are addressing him. ادع لنا ربك. I can understand if he was speaking with some mushrikeen or he's addressing non-believers and still they did not believe yet and they are addressing this new prophet. It's acceptable logically to tell this prophet, new prophet, hey, ask your Lord, call upon your Lord. But when the believers themselves, they tell their prophet, ادعو لنا ربك, and in other places, اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنها هنا قاعد. The Quran is giving us an indication. The Quran is portraying an image for the attitude. Is it possible a group of believers, for many reasons, they became so arrogant and so rude with their Lord? Is it possible? Why do you think the Quran is telling this? Is warning from this. Yes, a group of believers, they were believers. But they came to a status for many things they were doing, and we will see the end result. They became so arrogant and so rude with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is it applicable on Muslims now? ادعو لنا ربك. Okay? Call upon your Lord. We don't know. Or let's see. We are not fishing directly. Don't say that's haram, ya Sheikh. We are not drinking alcohol. This is spirits. Okay? So spirits are not alcohol. So if we change the names, خلاص. The haram could be halal. طيب. The concept of the temporization, المماطلة. Okay? And trying to escape. Let's apply it in a very simple example. Hijab with some Muslimas. radiyallahu anhum. How many millions of Arabs and Muslims, they keep arguing, أنا لسه مش مقتنعة. مش مقتنعة بإيش؟ بالضبط. وشو مش مقتنعة؟ You know, I'm not convinced yet. يا حلو. طب what's the difference if someone came and say, أنا لسه مش مقتنع بالصلاة. Okay. أنا لسه مش مقتنع بحرمة الزنا. I'm not convinced yet that riba is haram. This apply the same concept of the hijab. How many millions of sisters around the world لسه مش مقتنعة. والله I love Allah, I have a pure heart, I don't lie, بس لسه مش مقتنعة بالحجاب. Which means she's dealing with Allah with a pick and choose theory. You know pick and choose? But by the way, the sister who says I'm not convinced in the hijab yet, and she has forgotten that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala وما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة إذا قضى الله ورسوله أن يكون لهما الخيرة من أمرهم. If Allah commanded something through his prophet, and I mean you have no choice to say, well, I'm not convinced yet, let me think about it. But if you want to apply this Okay, I'm not saying I'm a kafir. I'm not saying I'm rejecting the Islam, but I'm not convinced yet. طيب, يلا. Let's open this area. Many people, they don't pray because they are not convinced yet. Many people, they deal with the riba because still they are not convinced yet. Many people, they commit the zina because they are not convinced yet. Many people, they disrespect their parents because they are not convinced yet that, for example, disrespecting or being good with parents is kabira. Enlarge it. What we have left from Islam to be applied? Nothing. Nothing. This is the end result of this attitude. Be careful. Allah is warning us. Now Allah commanded. Okay. Call upon your Lord. Let's see. Okay, the color. Let's see the age. Let's see. What's this? This is an attitude of trying to escape. You don't want to apply it. Here comes the importance of the core point of the story of the Baqarah with the core point of our religion. What is the title of our religion? Islam. Means what? Submission. Does not mean fully convinced. Be careful بقى يا خالي. Wallahi, who told you that you are asked to be a professor and your IQ should be a genius to be able to be convinced in everything? Who's to told you that you can do this? After you believe and you know the major things, you have many details, you submit. That's why the title of our religion is Submission Islam. To submit. By submission, you achieve peace. That's why the genius title of Islam, it goes to two roots. Islam, from silm and taslim. You apply taslim, submission, you achieve silm, salam, peace of mind. Are you with me? What is the core point of Surah AlBaqarah? Not submission. They did it at the end. Call upon your Lord. Let's think about it. Why not? Who told you? How can I be convinced? I'm not convinced yet. Okay, call upon your Lord. This is what we do now. يا عمي إحنا شو بعرفنا? How can I know that this is true? Okay, let's think about it. Like, for example, it happens with me, you know, through my long journey in trying to educate myself. Sometimes, someone comes to you and say, Ya Sheikh, can I do such and such? Ask you about Islamic hukum in something. I told him, no, this is haram. Say, but I asked Sheikh al Tahta and he said it's acceptable. You know Sheikh al Tahta? He said, I asked the Sheikh, you know, down the road in that masjid, I said, do you know who is he? He said, no. How old is he? He's 18. What do you call him a sheikh? You know, mashallah, he has a very nice voice and very good beard. Okay, what's his education in Islam? He's just started praying just last year. And you accepted his fatwa. Because it goes with what? With my desire. But if the haqq is for him and someone is... let's imagine... I said, Ya Ammi, I've spent 30 years in studying Sharia. This is haram. Said, Ya Sheikh, I have another fatwa. Okay, this same person, let's change the situation now. Few months later, he has a big problem with someone else who has used a very bad fatwa against him to take his right. The other person went to the Sheikh al-Tahta, the same Sheikh. Immediately, this person who wants the haqq, he said, Wallahi, I don't accept anyone below Shaykh al-Azhar. I want Shaykh al-Azhar to give the fatwa. I want someone who is knowledgeable to give the fatwa. I need the committee from the Azhar because this is my right. Aha. وَإِن يَكُنْ لَهُمُ الْحَقُّ يَأْتُوا لَهُمُ. This is So I realize, I know, I feel, but my desires, because if I can, make benefit, if I can twist whatever it is, I will do it. This is exactly part of the character of our cousins, and it's part of the character of many Muslims now. So basically, when we read, let's be aware of this, because the beauty of our religion is submission. Let's conclude this story by giving you simple example in our daily life to make it easy, especially for the kids, mashallah, that we have here. Now, the whole idea sums up by an authority, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, commanding the servants. They should obey the commandments and do what they should do. When the commandments come, there should be no empty talks and arguing for nothing. Apply it and please proceed. Khalas. You got my point? Now, let's apply it in our daily life. One of the most well-known human classical authorities are the parents at the house. We have authorities, the king, we have governments, feudal lords, but the most common one is what? Parents, father and mother, which is a family. You have authority, father and mother. Since we are aware of our life, we hear what? Commandments. Don't do this, do this. Generally speaking, Allah created us on the base of sympathy and love. So, however, our parents, they keep what? Guide us. Don't touch, don't do this, go to sleep, don't eat such and such, don't speak loudly, do this, don't do this. Is this part of any normal human being on earth or not? Can you imagine if a family basically is based on the following mentality? The authority, which is based on love, respect, and caring, which is Baba or Mama. Anything they ask to do, the reaction from the servants or the kids or whatever, the one or the soldiers in the army is arguing. Imagine an army. The chief commander, to all units, please gather outside. We want you now to say, excuse me, why outside? Why not inside? Bring all your devices at once in the for example, in the point X or whatever. Okay, why not in the point Z? Come in 5 minutes. Why not in 6 minutes? Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel. What is this? Are you gonna achieve anything in your life? It's a disaster. Apply it on a police station. Apply it on an army. Apply it on a government. Well, civil government now. You have an authority, which is the president, elected, not elected. This is not my point now. Okay? Commandment, order, do, don't do. If we started just arguing, we have a time for arguing, for discussion. Why do you want this? Because of this. Yalla, please apply. Yalla. If every time we will start this, what will happen? Nothing will. We will proceed nothing. No step forward. We human beings, we can't accept it. We don't allow it to happen. And we consider the one who does this thing is a rude person, is an obstacle, is a troublemaker, and sometimes a criminal. Is this true or not? If we do not accept it from each other when we have authority, how come we apply this with Allah? Practically, do we apply this? Yes, I gave you examples. It's when I want to do something, for example, something in you, some financial example. I told you about, for example, the hijab. Okay? We can apply it in the concept. Sheikh, ليش الصحبة حرام? You know, a boyfriend to take a girlfriend as just a friend. Yeah, it's not allowed in Islam, please. Now, we are allowed to deal with each other under the umbrella of respect if there is a need. A boyfriend and a girlfriend in the Western style, it's prohibited in Islam. It's prohibited. وَلَا مُتَّخِذَاتِ أَخْدَانِ. It's haram. It's mentioned in the Quran to a boyfriend and a girlfriend. It's not allowed. You know, keep arguing. We are not doing something haram. We don't make a khalwa. I don't touch her. We just sometimes hug each other. But I don't touch. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. والله قسما بالله I was asked this question by one of the sisters. She told me a question. She was embarrassed in front of the kid. She asked me, if I'm wearing the mask, can I kiss my boyfriend? Wallahi, I was asked this question here. Yeah. What? The concept, as if the concept just don't let your skin touch the skin. But if you kiss and hug with mask, no problem. Go ahead, Sheikh. يا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. What's this? You know, the attitude from inside is completely upside down. The idea of respect for chastity, for purity is completely has been put on the shelf sometimes, and you know it's very strange. The idea ولا متخذ don't the whole package is not acceptable. It's not a matter you know the same. Sometimes they ask us, okay, I don't shake hands, can I hug? The same problem. Same problem يا عمي. I mean, physically, a man and a woman in Islam, they should not be close to each other, whispering, hugging, kissing, touching, whatever, except through halal way. The halal way exclusively in Islam is marriage. Anything outside marriage is called in English language the promiscuity, which is the prohibition of any sexual relation outside the constitution of marriage or the institution of marriage. نقطة. Very simple way. طب can I يا عمي لا. Can we go together but can I just touch يا عمي لا. So when they keep arguing, I did not do this but this is my intention, or I was wearing a mask, I kissed her but with a mask, Sheikh. Show me evidence from Prophet Muhammad saying that kissing a girlfriend with a mask is haram. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. This is exactly what our cousins they were doing. You got the point? Got my point? Now generally the حكم is معروف. Don't fish on Saturday. نقطة. Period. خلاص. Okay, we will not. We put the nets at the end of Friday and we will have it at the morning of Saturday. طيب. Slaughter a cow. What's the age, Sheikh? Any cow. Okay. This is the age. Okay. The color, Sheikh. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Yeah, we do it. We want to solve the problem. No. There's an attitude of you don't want to submit. So please, let's take a lesson now. The lesson, if you want to know to what degree you are close from the will of Allah, look, watch, observe yourself. To what degree, when you know that this hukum, this verdict, this teaching in Islam, when you don't know it, you know it now. To what level you are ready to apply it in your life, or you start searching to how to avoid it. Here comes the importance of this story. Are you with me? Right. Now let's conclude. I will not take your time. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. I was preparing another 2 stories, but I believe I finished 45 minutes to make it, inshallah, short, close, and just to leave this place, this blessed place, with a message. Let me conclude with the following. Ya ikhwa, I finished the lesson, and I finished the story of Al-Baqarah, what I need in my context. Let me just highlight something. Ya ikhwa, ya ahibba. It's not always easy to find someone to remind you. Forget who's the reminder now. Okay, forget my face, forget my name. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind, because indeed, verily, a reminder does benefit the believers. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to let every one of you from the believers. What is the importance of a reminder? It is a reminder. A reminder does not mean that you don't know. You know. A reminder does not mean that you don't understand. You understand. A reminder does not mean necessarily someone came to convince you to solve a logical problem, because maybe you might be more smarter than the speaker himself. A reminder is something that has to do with the context of your heart. You are ready to accept. You are in need. You are in a trouble, or you have high spiritual attitude, or whatever. The reminder comes, it connects. Now you have the spiritual power to start, because you know, but you are not able to start, whatever it is. Now, once the reminder came, or the new information with the reminder came, or the new understanding with the reminder came, immediately take a decision has to do with updating your status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the importance of our session. That's why it's compulsory to pray the Jum'ah. Why do you think compulsory to pray the Jum'ah? Why? It's a reminder. Do you think the Sahaba or the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he was speaking with them every time, he was bringing them completely new things from zero, they know nothing. No, sometimes it's just simple reminder. Some of us might be in a very difficult status with their parents, for example. Disrespecting parents, being very rude with the parents, not able to control their temper, they lose their anger, whatever. He knows, she knows, whatever. Something came at the time. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرُ. Be careful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding us. Ya Allah, it came in the khalas. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, I promise you, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that from this moment I will not reply in any attitude, but with full politeness with my mother, even if she is speaking with me in a tough way. Khalas, decision. Once the decision has been taken, by the way, if you left this masjid and Allah took your soul and you passed away, Allah will set you accountable for your intention. Which means you intended to fix the relation with your mother, even though you have not started yet. Here comes the intention. Here is the importance of the reminder. So let's make like a covenant, ahd, between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, first of all, alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-iman. We thank you for the blessings of faith. We thank you for the blessings of Islam itself. Do you know what these two packages mean? How many millions on earth, they know nothing about faith? How many people they commit suicide because they don't know what to do? They don't know where they are here. The big questions, why I'm here? Who brought me here? Who created me? What I'm supposed to do? Where to go? We know. Number one. Number two, the system, the Islam. What to do, how to do it, depending on what? The full package. The software. We have the full software. And this hardware is compatible with this software. Because the same source, the same manufacturer, if I may put it in this way. So you feel, you understand, you realize. So is this not a big blessing or not? So let's very quickly finish the package of myself in terms of what to do and why. Because we have a big job to do. What is it? What is it? Calling others to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The qadr of Allah made your parents or yourself, you came to this country. But many nice, good people around you, they know nothing. That's why, and inshallah I finish by this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Rabbana, Allah is teaching us to make this dua. Rabbana la taj'alna fitnatan lilladhina kafaru. Oh Allah, don't let me be fitna for the non-believers. You know what does this mean? An unbeliever who knows nothing about your system and your faith and your software, he knows you as a person. He's doing what? Observing you as a person. If you are applying the system, he will love the system and come ask about the system, or he will ask to embrace the system. If he saw, wal-'iyadhu billah, God forbid, a very bad application, why on earth should he or she be concerned in this? Why? Common sense. So be careful. The fact that you and I were born Muslims is not the end of the story. Khalas, alhamdulillah, everything is okay, alhamdulillah. No. You don't know what could happen to you and me when we stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. In terms of, Ya abdi, O my servant, I gave you the language. How many of you, especially the young people, you speak fluently, you are a native speaker in English? For what you use your language? Are you with me? Wallahi, it's a big responsibility. Like Arabs, for example, the one who was born as an Arab in an Arab country, by default he knows Arabic language. What kind of responsibility he will be accountable for in the day of judgment when Allah asks him, what did you do with the tool that enabled you to access my book without any problem? You know what this means? Wallah, I keep repeating this following example. Some of you know that I did my PhD in the UK about 25 years ago. Okay? When I went there, it was my first experience with non-Arabs, Muslims, especially the majority around me, they were either from Yemen or from Pakistan. So the Pakistani brothers, you know, there were thousands around us. You know, Pakistani brothers in specific, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with something. They are number one on earth in building masajid on earth. I witnessed this by my own eyes. By the way, I visited 26 countries and 281 cities in 5 continents. I witnessed by my own eyes in Hong Kong, China, Netherlands, United States. You know, number one masajid by Pakistani brothers. My point, at that time, out of the, I don't know, their population, they were about 60, 65 millions, 12 millions of them, they were memorizing the Quran. But they don't understand Arabic. I'm addressing Arabs now to know the blessings. I witnessed something, wallahi, made feel really something very scary. I lived in an area where 99% of the brothers, they were from Pakistan, especially from Kashmir. Now they were so practicing Islam to a degree, most of their women, they were wearing even the niqab. My wife, she's doing like me. She's holding, like me now, a PhD in Islamic studies in Tafsir as well. At that time, she has started just her, you know, Tafsir master's degree. However, so she knows better than me in the recitation of the Quran. She's like mastering the skills of this. Once the area, they knew that my wife, she knows she's an Arab and she had special, you know, skills in reciting the Quran. They started come to asking because they don't allow men to teach their women. Okay? So they want sister to teach their, you know, wives and their daughters. This is 25 years ago. Wallahi, they were ready to pay whatever price you ask them. Whatever. 10 pounds 25 years ago, like 100 or 200 pounds now. Pounds, you know, the sterling. Now, the points. I witnessed some of them doing his best, paying thousands of his pocket money from the Pakistani brothers, reciting the Quran. After 5 years of practicing, he says the Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. He's not able. Khalas, it's his language. Some of them, they did it. Some of them, they were not. Or Alhamdulillah. رب العالمين ولا الضالين آمين ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. The qaf does not come. After 5 years. And I say, Ya Allah, what will happen with me as an Arab? The language is by default is with me. After 5 years, he's killing himself. Hardly he's able to read the Quran. Hardly. Forget understanding Arabic language. I'm not discussing understanding. Just the recitation. So, Mr. Arab, do you know how close you and I from hell? Wallahi, I'm not joking. Wallahi, I'm not joking. Because when you are given, when you are blessed with something, there's accountability. يعني, as we say in Arabic, مش مشان سواد عيونك حبيب قلبه. You know it? How to translate this? It's not for your ايش? For your dark beautiful eyes حبيب قلبه. شو يا حبيب قلبه كيف اترجمها هاي؟ It's untranslatable. اللي فهمها خلاص. والله No. It's Allah gives. It's a responsibility. It's an honor. But what? Pay the thanks for this. Allah gave you. So it's not a joke. It's not something very simple. So when we look to this, understanding this concept in itself, it's a blessing. Knowing that it's a blessing. Realizing that this is the only, exclusively speaking, reserved revelation of the Creator to humans, the only. Brothers and sisters, do you know what's the feeling when someone is following another religion? He knows for sure in his heart that his book is not preserved. You don't know it because you are born Muslims. And for sure we believe in the tawatur and we feel with the fun. No one is able to break this. No one. We have the full certainty that this is the book of Allah. We don't have a doubt. What if we have a doubt? Simply you will leave it. Why should you just keep this kind of, nervous attitude? Do you know that nearly all other followers of religions, they have this feeling? You don't have it. Why do you think they convert to Islam? Why do you think? Why do you think? Wallah, isma. I was about to finish. Can I tell you this story? But this story, it's very, very, alhamdulillah, beautiful story. And inshallah, hopefully, remind me that I said I will finish, okay? In Arabic we say, لا تعطي مرة تليفون ولا شيخ مايكروفون. The Arabs, they understood that. They say, don't give a cell phone to a woman or a mic for a sheikh. Because both of them, they can't stop talking. Both of them, and with all respect, little sisters. بس we are in the same problem, okay? At least myself. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. I mean, the concept of how simple, how pure-hearted, basically, you as a Muslim, because of the power of your Islam. One of the dua, this story, I read this story about 15 or more years ago, and it happened before I read it with a few years, so it's around 20 years from now. It happened in the United States, and the story said one of the big da'iyas from the Arab world, who was doing like a tour in the United States, which is very common, okay? Like if Sheikh Muhammad Ratib al-Nabilsi, you know, when someone invites him for some states and cities. So one of the da'iyas, he was in a very big hall, you know, hundreds, thousands of people listening to him. While he's speaking, someone comes and say, Sheikh, laqid fulan al-shahada. He said, Sheikh, please help. Then he pointed with his finger to a white American man. He wanted to declare his shahada, which means he just, you know, decided to become a Muslim now. So the people, they were expecting the sheikh will be excited and say, Allahu Akbar, takbir, Allahu Akbar, yalla, bsur'a, halawi, come sheikh, please, say the shahada, repeat after me, ashhadu, ashhadu, Allah, Allah, ilaha, ilaha, I bear witness that there is no God. No, he did nothing. He said, thank you very much, Jazak. Okay, brother, please, can you come to the stage? Now he was not, it seems he has a good experience. He said, Sheikh, before I ask you to say the Shahada, can you tell us why did you decide to become Muslim? He wanted him as an outsider to tell them as born Muslims, what did you see in what we have, which some of us might not be aware of? Are you with me? So he said, to be honest with you, I'm a multimillionaire. And I had many companies, very rich. And I tried all kinds of pleasures that you can ever imagine in my life. And never ever happened, felt happiness in my life. Everything, multimillionaire. An American multimillionaire. Can you imagine what can he do? He can travel to everywhere. He can eat whatever. He can, American and multimillionaire. His passport alone allows him to travel with the money. So there's no obstacle. Say, I'm not happy at all. He said, I was always feel angry from a simple, poor Indian Muslim. He was working in a very humble things in my life, like an office boy. Very low salary in one of my companies. I used to see him, he works with me, but in very low salary. He's a Muslim from India. All the time he's smiling. He said, every time I see him smiling, inside my, I kept, now he's admitting by himself. He said, I kept saying with myself, how come? I'm the rich, I'm the multimillionaire, I'm the one who's doing, but I'm not happy. And he's whenever I see him, good morning, sir. How are you, sir? Smiling. Smiling always means, by the way, you can smile for minutes, you can smile for seconds, sometimes in a hypocritical attitude for your boss, for you, the one who's in charge of you. You can. Just someone can say, just you leave it. That's it. You can do it for seconds, for minutes. But if it's not a genuine one, if you keep doing like this, your muscles will have stiff here. Wallahi, it will hurt you. You can't. The natural, normal thing, it comes naturally. It will be spread with your muscles and it gives you happiness. Anyway, he was convinced that this poor Indian Muslim was genuinely happy. But he was saying, my arrogance prevented me from, I am the multimillionaire, I'm the white American, he is the humble, simple, poor Muslim Indian. Me talking to him, asking him to help me. Come on. You know what does this mean? In our context? زودتها. زودتها يعني كيف بالانجليزي نحكي؟ ها؟ اكسترا؟ اكسترا؟ طبعا وفي رواية مصرية زودتها بقى يا شيخ. You know? يعني too much. This, I'm just translating his attitude. Okay, he did not say this. It's my words. فواحد يقول لي هسه انت وين عرفت انه قال زودتها بقى يا شيخ؟ This is my words, okay? He said, now at a certain point I thought many times to commit suicide. This is America. He said, after I had this thinking to kill myself, then I said, Ya Ammi, yani, you were about to kill yourself because you are not happy all the time depressed, all the time you have this kind of bad feelings. طب يا عمي, ask him, maybe he has a recipe for something. This poor Muslim, which is his employee, by the way. He pays his salary and he knows his salary with just a few hundreds of dollars. By the way, maybe this poor Indian Muslim, he's taking care of 5 families back there in India. But he said, I asked him to come to my office directly. يعني بالمصري من الآخر. You know, from the end. قال له, hey, directly. Why you are always smiling? He said, because I'm a Muslim. He said, you want to tell me that every Muslim is always happy? He said, if he understands and applies Islam, yes. Understands and applies. Yes, he said, why? Here comes the amazing reaction of simple, humble, poor Muslim from India. He's not an expert. He's not holding PhD or BA or MA in Islamic studies. Maybe he did not know even the way to a school in his life. But look what he said. He said, because simply our Prophet, in our deen, in our Islam, Prophet Muhammad told us. Then he recited the following hadith, which many of you they know. I will say it in Arabic, translate it in English. He recited. He said, our Prophet Muhammad said, قال عجبا لأمر المؤمن إن أمره كله له خير إن أصابته سراء شكر فكان خيرا له وإن أصابته ضراء صبر فكان خيرا له وليس ذلك لأحد إلا للمؤمن. قال وأمرنا بين السراء والضراء فإن أصبنا بالسراء شكرنا وإن أصبنا بالضراء صبرنا فلما لا أكون فرحا. He said, our Prophet told us that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said, I'm wondering for the status of the believer. If he was exposed to some goodness in his life, he will be thankful to his Lord and he will be rewarded for being thankful. And if he was exposed with a difficulty, with a trial, with a ibtila, with an imtihan, by the will of his Lord, he will be patient. He will say, I accept the will of Allah, alhamdulillah. Illness, he lost a dear friend to him, he lost his money, he was kicked out of his job, something uncontrollable. He said, alhamdulillah ala qada'illah, inna lillahi wa inna. He said he will be patient. He will say, Ya Allah, help me to accept. He was not rejecting, killing himself, committing suicide. No. قال وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاءُ صَبَرَ. And this will be good, he will be rewarded. Then he continued, he said, and our life is divided into either or. Either we are in a difficulty, we are thanking by patience, or in a beauty and pleasure and we are thanking and we will be rewarded. Then he said, why not to be happy? Why not to be happy? I'm not losing. By all means, I'm gaining. It's like you working in a company. They told you, look, the target of you are working, for example, as a marketing or a salesperson. Look to this amazing company, which is divine company. You have just to work and to go and speak with the people. We don't ask you to bring new customers, just to speak with them. But sir, if they did not buy from me, no problem, just speak with them. But they did not buy. You will take your salary just by speaking. Ya Allah, really? Yes, I will keep speaking, no problem. I mean, there is no target in terms of you must bring 10 people, 15. You must say, no, just speak. Wallah, no problem. I spoke, replied, they did not reply. They accepted, they rejected, they liked, they disliked. I'm not accountable. My salary is completely preserved and I will be promoted every month. Would you like to work in a company like this? This is the company of Allah, by the way. You will be rewarded for your intention and efforts, regardless of results. Then he said, this American, I come back to America, he said, then he told this Indian Muslim, he said, please help me to be a Muslim. He was so simple and poor, he was not able even to show him how to convert to Islam. He brought him to the event of that sheikh. And he declared his shahada in that. And we started saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, I bear witness that there is no God of Allah except Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. He started crying heavily. The people, they came just to make it easy for him. The da'iyah said, leave him, let him cry. He kept on crying for minutes. You know, when he finished, out of his experience, he knew something. He said, why you were crying? He said, Wallahi, by Allah, I was feeling as if I was holding a mountain of burdens on my shoulders. Once I said it, I am released. He realized something new, it's a new experience for him. We should realize it by default. Allah blessed us. So please, let's view our status in our life from this angle, from this, these glasses, that we are blessed by faith, by Islam, by knowledge, by ilm, by time, by language, and we are responsible to spread the word. Jazakumullahu khairan. I finished. Sorry for taking more time from you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa iyaakum. See you next week, inshallah.